Okay. This is going to be a demonstration for doing your Adobe Illustrator practice exercises. So this would be where your assignment details would be. I haven't really added all the instructions on there, but obviously I'm gonna have more detailed instructions on what you're doing for today. But basically, you work on these 1 to 2 different exercises for the for this week. So this is gonna be exercise 1 and then exercise 2. So not really much when you click on it, but one of the things you'll have to do is you'll have to upload it onto Adobe Illustrator, and then you can see the entire exercise. So first thing you're gonna do is you're gonna go on to your Canvas page. You're going to click on get started with exercise 1. And what we're going to do is we're just going to download this exercise onto your computer. So you can click on the download button up here. Click on it, download. It should show up in your downloads page. I'm using Chrome, so it may prompt you one more time in Safari to allow for the download. Just allow for it. And then go to your downloads folder down here. And you're going to double click on here to open up Adobe Illustrator. So some of you may need to log in again. If not, maybe your login is already saved. You don't really have to log out of the Adobe sign in because since it's tied into your your own account. We have 2 accounts, one for Eagle, one for DaVinci. It won't sign in on the other account, so you don't have to worry about that. Okay, so once you're in though, you're going to be greeted with a couple of different pages to work on. So you got section 1, section 2, 3, and 4. So I'm going to assume this will take you about 2 class periods to finish. Maybe 1 if you're really on top of it. But yeah, I would say about 2 class periods to work on this. And the purposes of this assignment today is just to learn more about the program, the hotkeys that I introduced to you the previous class, and just basically just be more work efficient with your using the computer to draw these things. So a lot of what we're going to be doing this year is going to be a lot of technical things that we'll do on the computer, but definitely your knowledge of your elements for arts, principal designs, things you have learned in your drawing and art classes. Those will always come back to you when we work on the project itself. But good majority of the time in class though, it's basically just learning about the software and how to create art with the work. So okay, so it's pretty straightforward. So you'll just be doing these exercises. So again, you want to look at the hotkeys that I gave you. So if you, and I'll just show you what hotkeys I'm talking about. So in terms of the hotkeys, these are going to be your kind of go-tos in terms of efficiently navigating and working with the program, being optimal with it. So to zoom in, this, you're gonna hold Command and press plus to zoom in, Command, press minus to zoom out. So, you may be familiar with some of these keys in the, if you use a PC. Everything that deals with control with the PC, it's gonna be Command instead. So, if you were to use Illustrator on a PC or a computer, then everything is Control instead of Command. And for Apple, it's Command for those. Command Z is undo, Command Control, or Command Shift and plus C is redo. Command C is copy, Command V is paste. Spacebar is the hand tool, P tool is pen tool, selection tool, deselect, and etc. So, I'll mention these tools as I use them. Slowly at first, but over time I just kind of just go with the motion. So, first thing you're gonna do is obviously you'll probably be zoomed out pretty far, because it usually opens up the document like this. So you want to do Command and hold Command and press plus to zoom in. So I'm just pressing it a couple times to zoom in. Spacebar key will change your tool to the hand tool. You can also find the hand tool on here. Actually, you probably have to put it in your toolbar, but but just remember your spacebar key is the hand tool. I really like the hand tool because you can just click and drag to move it around. You can also use the mouse wheel too. I'm not super comfortable with using that just yet, and you just want to get in the section right here. So first thing to do is you're just going to draw straight lines. with the pen tool. So in terms of this first part, it's really simple and easy to do. The important thing though is you're going to use the hotkeys that I've mentioned before. Like you'll switch between like the pen tool, you'll go to like the deselect tool. So you want to use like mainly these two tools here, the Command Shift A and then the P tool. So that'll get you through this one section real quickly. So again, we're going to be using the pen tool, so it's this tool right here. Okay, don't confuse it with the curvature tool. Pen tool is going to be like a primary tool we're going to use to draw out the program. Some of you guys may have used like the paintbrush tool last class to, do your drawings, but you obviously can't have like super accurate drawings. A lot of what this program does is, you kind of like draw something traditionally on paper and pencil, and then you upload your image or picture of like your drawing, and then you kind of retrace it again with Adobe Illustrator using the pen tool. So we're gonna be using that same process when we do like your first logo project for the year. So pen tool, we're just gonna practice straight lines. So pretty simple, you just click on the points. So I'm clicking on this point here, there. Oh, one thing you wanna make sure to do too, and let me just start over. So I'm gonna do Command Z to undo, Command Z. Make sure this fill tool right here, you want to check this off. So click on none. So that'll cross out your fill because if you let's just say I kept this on white, and then you were to like kind of make a shape here, it's going to cover up with like this white space. So it's basically the color in the inside. So you don't want it to color in the inside. So Command Z to undo. So undo is like your basically like your delete key if you need to delete things. Make sure it's selected on the the fill and not the stroke, because you can click on both. Oh yeah, another thing too, I forgot to like config this, but make sure to lock this. Don't unlock any of these guides. As you unlock it, you're gonna accidentally click on it and move it around, which you don't really want to do. So we're gonna keep like the guides where they are. We're gonna lock it, and then the layer that you do your drawing on, you're gonna make sure it's highlighted on that drawing layer. So okay, now we can get started. So I'm going to just click on these points here. I'm gonna change my color. I would just do you can keep it black. So you change black there. You double click and make it black here. Either or is fine. So we're just gonna click on these points here. Pretty simple. So basically we're just tracing these lines. So it's just allowing you to just get comfortable with the program, click on the points. So once you get to the very end though, if I go down here and I try to work on this, I'm gonna like get like this giant line that'll go from one side to the other. So this is where you're gonna have to use one of the hotkeys that I mentioned. You can use the Command Shift A tool. And if you do Command Shift A, that'll deselect. So you can continue your line, Command Shift A, deselect, and this is going to be like the most efficient way of getting through this first part. So you click on make the line, Command Shift A, hold Command Shift and press A, and now move it. Now if you wanted to the other way, you would have to click on this selection tool, double click to deselect away, then go back to the pen tool. So this way is a little bit slower. So I don't recommend doing this way. The whole point of this first part is we're just, being more efficient with the tool. So make the line, Command Shift A, make the line, hold Command Shift A. So, you pretty much are doing this. So that's pretty straightforward. It's just using the hotkey that I mentioned before. It's just to be, get you through this first part real quickly. Okay, so you're gonna trace those lines using the pen tool, pretty simple. Next part, you're gonna use the curved lines. So in order to create a curved line, you click on the one end here with the pen tool, and then you click and drag and hold the mouse button. So you're gonna wanna hold the left click, and you can click and drag to make curves now. So just like before though, oops, you want to make sure Command Z, Command Shift A. So this is like kind of building off of the last thing that we did, and now you're making curves. So Command Shift A. And if you feel like you need to zoom out a little more, just to make the curves, that's fine too. So these lines, so they don't have to be like super perfect, but just try to get it close enough. I'm not gonna be like super nitpicky, but I could tell when you use the pencil, if you use this tool here, you're not gonna get like that perfect line. I mean, this is pretty close, but don't make it harder on yourself. Just just use the pencil. It used to be back in the day though, the paintbrush tool was like terrible. It's actually a lot better now. I'm really surprised by it. So you're just gonna continue your lines, but yeah, do not use the brush tool for this. Because you're not gonna get like that perfect curve, and that's something that we're gonna talk about too. Is you look at the points. This is like using 2 points to. I'll show you here. So the quality of the lines, you zoom in real closely, you can see the difference. But like this is using 2 what they call anchor points to make your line. It's really hard to see, but there's like an anchor point here. There's one there. This one's using multiple anchor points, so this line isn't as clean as the other line that I made with the pencil. And a lot of the Adobe Illustrator art though, drawings that you create, you want to make sure to have like the nicest, cleanest line art or shapes as possible. Okay, so that's number 2. Number 3, you're going to do the same thing, but it's just a little bit more advanced. So this one, you want to click on the point here, click on drag. So there's like little anchor points you can make right here to make your curves. So this one, you just kind of click and drag and hold the mouse button to finish the lines. So try to get it close to it. This is a little off, which is fine. But you just have to kind of continue the line. So this one, you're just going to continue all the way to the end. Again, you have Command-Shift-A to get to the next line. So this one's a little bit trickier. So you have to like kind of figure out what are the best points to make an anchor point. So I would make one right here. So you can actually line that up with what's on there. You can click on that point to make that line. And sometimes when you make the anchor point, so they they can kind of just make it for you if you just click on the point. So Command-Shift-A. I would do it like halfway from the curves that you're making. This one you have to like kind of make like certain judgments when you're making your curves and your lines. Okay, so that's number 3. Number 4. This one is probably the hardest one to do. So this one's gonna have you use the pen tool, but the only difference though is you can't click and continue the lines. If you continue the lines like this, it's gonna like do something really weird like that. If you wanted to like zoom in closely, that's fine too. You have to use the spacebar tool a lot. So you see like my line looks really weird now. Not how I want it. So do Command-Z to undo all that. So you're gonna click on the point here, click on this point there, and make a curve. And then you always want to click on the last anchor point. So you click on the last anchor point, that'll get rid of like that curvature on that other side. And this is how you will continue the rest of your drawing. So ideally, this is going to be how you're going to be tracing your drawings, creating your logos. We're going to use this method of the pencil. So it's always just click on the last point to get rid of that curvature, and then you can continue. So make a curve, click on the last point. Click, drag, make a curve. Hold the left mouse key. Click on the last point. So always click on the last point when you continue your line. So this one I'm going to break it up into 2 parts. So this is like kind of using what we did on that last exercise. Spacebar key to move around. Hold the spacebar key, move around. Click on here. Click, drag. Hold the mouse button. Make that curve. Close it. Click, drag. Make the curve. Close it. Okay, but you kind of get the idea though. And try to use as few points as possible. So like I'm like using like halfway between these points. But I want to do something like this though. Don't do this. Or you're, kind of like, oh, okay, let me keep making this curve like this. So now you see like these lines become like really jagged. This is like what you want to avoid doing in your line work. See, it doesn't look that clean. Whereas if I were to do like one curve for this or 2 of them, I'm just going to do this along a separate line so you can see. you know, this is using 2 anchor points to make your line. So, and I'm using this selection, so you probably won't need to use this, but this is just to move it around. You see how much cleaner this line is compared to the other line that I made? It's kind of hard to see, but yeah, this still got like a bump right here, but you can't really do nothing about that. But this line is definitely cleaner than my top line here. So always want to have nice clean lines when you're working on stuff. So, okay, we can start there. So you can actually see there's actually a point right there that someone made. So I made one point there. Continue the line here. Oh, it's hard to see. So if you zoom in too closely, you might have to zoom out a little bit to make your lines. I wouldn't zoom out too far though, where you can't really see what you're doing, but you know, zoom out where you can see it. Okay, but you kind of get the idea that you just click and drag, just make those lines. So I'm just gonna finish this last part here. So one curve here. Okay, well, that's pretty much exercise 1. I'm gonna make another video later for number 2, but number 2 should be a little bit easier. It's just gonna show you more of like the coloring tools, gradient tools. That one's a little bit more fun. This one's more of just using just the pen tool. Okay, but you want to make sure to just trace everything on the exercises. This would be number 1.